Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show. Hello, welcome everybody. This is another episode of RAERAEs Review, and we're going to discuss Selling Sunset. And who I mean by we is my homegirl, Erin. Say hello to the people, lady.
Hey, everybody. Happy to be back. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we are back with season 8. Now, we've been watching this show on and off, right? Discussing, and talking about the folks. I said, let's review it. Plus I'm seeing a lot of Selling Sunset going on. So maybe, some folks are dying to hear about it, or maybe, jog their memory, because like I said, it's a season 8. And some folks haven't seen it in a while, or again, maybe we'll jog their memory and they'll catch on. And just something else for us to talk about, since we like it. We know other people like it. They came back for season 8. So it's a lot of folks out there who like it too. Woo, Selling Sunset. Some new folks coming in, some old folks gone, child.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yes.
Let's give them a little background to some mess that we remember, about the show. The most recent mess was Christine. Christine was the blonde bombshell realtor that, of course, was doing great with the sales, but her personal relationships were really much in the toilet. She, with her coworkers and in her personal life, which is very detrimental, but with the people on the show, she was really unliked in the end, which is why she's no longer there. She did the first, 6 or 7 seasons? And
yeah.
She's gone.
I think if she was smart, she would come back.
Yep.
Especially now in her new situation where she is once again the head of her own household.
Right. And that's very, if y'all want, y'all can look that up. Christine, I forget her last name. You remember her last name?
Nope. I do not, actually. What I can say is that I did see something recently where her husband was asking a judge to either lift or make an allowance on the RS order, the restraint, or I don't know if we can even say that, but anyway,
TRO.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And because apparently there is water damage to the home, he's saying that she didn't tell him about a leak, and now there's mold and other issues. So,
girl, and the thing about it is, no, this is 2 seasons ago. Because last season, they brought in one of the older people, one of the originals that I don't remember seeing in the beginning of season of the seasons. I forgot her name just that quick.
That one chick that nobody really likes.
The one that goes back and forth with Chriselle. What's her name?
I know what you're talking about. Isn't she like her. German or something? She has an accent.
No, not her. I think she's from Miami. She left. She was pregnant.
Oh, her.
Not her, but the other one. I'm going to get her name in a minute. Yeah. But she's, tall, blonde, and her and Chriselle was going back and forth. Well, anyway, she was brought back last year. So 2 years ago, Christine brought in Chelsea, season 6, I think. Chelsea is from London. She's married with kids, and she came in. trying to just take over, trying to really, stake her territory, and is really money hungry. And, she's good at what she does. But I think there's a little misunderstanding of cultures, because she's from London, and her perception on things kind of rubs people the wrong way, especially when she's so gung ho. It kind of feels like she's trying to take over, you know,
Mm-hmm.
very, what is that when you're really over? What is that word I'm trying to think of? You're smarter than me. What's that word I'm trying to think of?
You gotta help me a little more than that.
Just really trying to, I guess another word for take over, but overpowering in
Overpowering or
yeah,
dominant.
in her mannerisms and
Mm-hmm.
everything. But I, no shade when I say this, but I kind of find it could be my perception, which could be wrong, but I find that with European culture, especially people, well, I'll say British culture, they seem to have that takeover spirit.
Well, listen, it's probably not appropriate to call her a colonizer. However, that is the country that she lives in.
Right. And actually, she's got Ghanaian, I think, but her parents moved to London, and that's where she grew up.
Right. So she grew up in colonizer central.
And she sounds like she's a native of, but she's actually an African woman. I just forget, what is it, Ghanaian, Kenyan? I want to say Ghanaian, but either way, she has a takeover spirit, and she's very assertive in her approach.
Mm-hmm.
And most times
Right.
she thinks she's right.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think, speaking of people that have dipped in and out, I am one of those folks. I have not watched for the past couple of seasons. I've seen, you know, pieces of it and like an episode, but like I haven't followed regularly for a minute. Um, so I kind of came into this with some fresh eyes because I have not been introduced to some of these girls as they made their debut season. I know
Mm-hmm.
that Chelsea has made a big splash. I've seen her in the news quite a bit because you said she's married, and I'm like, was married. I think part of that is going to be, I think that demise is going to be on this season of her marriage. He
Mm-hmm.
cheated, I think, because Cat's already out of the bag. Um, but it's very interesting to see the progression of the original cast and those I recognize versus the dynamic with the newbies.
Right.
And then, of course, there's the new one who certainly does come off that way.
Girl. I
Yeah.
mean, the
Well, somebody's got
outfits
to
and
pull antics.
everything.
And
It's just
clearly, Chelsea is, happy to like perform on a Christine level. I wouldn't say they're the same person by any means, but like likes to have that level of theatrics
that's
to
why they were friends.
right.
With some
Although
in
I don't
common.
think that it seems to me like Brie and like some of them other ladies are perfectly happy to bring theatrics as well of different flavors, maybe.
Right. Now, so Chelsea's new in a couple of years. Then the girl from way back, again, we'll get her name in a minute. She came last year as well. So now we have a new girl. Her name is Alanna. She's a young girl, a couple of years experience. I'm surprised that she's with the Oppenheim group with 2 years experience.
I think she
And
said she had 3 years experience, and I think she said she was 32, which
oh,
shocked me
excuse me,
because
3 years.
yeah, but I mean, she comes off way younger than she actually is, which is not a compliment because it literally like you come off, listen, forgive me all, corn-fed and stupid, and you should come off a little more worldly at 32 if you're selling for 3 years in LA. I don't know. I was it felt a little too amateur for the stats.
That's why I'm thinking like 3 years, and she's with the Oppenheim group. Um, okay, and not too many large, sales. So I'm like, what's the angle here? Do they just pick her because she looks the look, or
Probably. I mean, the thing about this show that I ever can't completely forget is that so much of this is contrived and produced. And, this is the same guy that did The Hills, Laguna Beach, like all of that. And so their model is very, very beautiful production, high value. Everyone
Mhm.
is gorgeous, clearly like obsessed with their fashions. All these girls have had so much work done. It hurts. Their faces are pulled so tight. They do not move. They are shiny from chemical peels, and lips are like so close to being overdone. Oh, yeah, it's just wow. But I also like, you can feel the mechanics of production in half the scenes. And I always have to remember that.
Yes.
Yes, it's very, very, it sucks because it's like, when a scene runs smoothly, you can enjoy it. But then when you have the next one, it's a herkaderk. You're like, God, you guys are yeah. Anyway,
But with all that being said, I agree with you. I still enjoy it better than some of the reality shows that we see on, whether it's OWN or Bravo. It's the production
yes,
value that I appreciate more, because of course these reality shows are all somewhat scripted because they're given topics to discuss and whatnot and not what, and then there it's cut and pasted for us, for them to narrate a story for us to vibe off of, and then we're hating people, loving people based off of how they cut and paste, which is
mm-hmm.
not necessarily the true story that we find out, of course, later on. But I appreciate the production on Selling Sunset better, because even though we're getting real life stuff, it's just a better outcome. It's not so messy and slimy compared to what's on Bravo. You know what I'm saying?
I
Be
I
clear
think
now.
that I like the production value because I think that the homes, looking at them, I mean, it is absolutely, if you enjoy real estate, this is a beautiful show to watch.
For
It
sure.
also, and here's the thing, you and I both live in LA County, or we're in the area in Southern California, and we
Hmm.
know these areas, the realistic version, and
Right.
versus what this is. But what this, it, to me, effectively communicates is what kind of glamour and lifestyle this level of wealth brings you.
Right.
And they showcase it in a way that you feel wistful, or like it's goals, or you feel like you're getting a pocket, a view into an elite lifestyle. And you are, because you and I were talking about this. I'm shocked at what $30 million gets you these days, because it's
Hmm.
not what it used to. You know what I mean? Things that should really be probably more like 10 are now 20, 30. It's shocking. But at the same time, just looking at the finishes of these houses, especially the scene where Bree met up with little Jason as he tried to entice her back with like a pocket listing.
Right. Let's get into
That
that.
home, ooh, oh my heart, my heart. I
Of
love
course, I
that
can live
home.
in any of these houses that they pull up, whether
Yes.
they're working on them, building them. So,
Yeah, but the one with the jade, I loved the jade, but the rest of it was like, oh no, this is a bachelor pad. I don't, Like when the ladies all like with the British lady that had just had a fresh facelift. Sorry, ma'am, but woo, they didn't go in tight on you for a reason. Um, Chriselle's client, that house was
right.
too much. When they said, oh, it's a unique interior design, yes, it is. The house that Jason met Bree in, oh my Lanta, as they say. Just stunning. Ooh,
Beautiful.
love all
See,
that warm marble they're using now. You know what I mean? Like the gold and the beige veins instead of everything all gray.
Now that one house where Chriselle walks into that you mentioned with the green and all that, the jade
Mm-hmm.
and everything, $30 million house, right?
Yeah.
Overlooking all of the little crooks of Hollywood and whatnot, not what. I thought that was real interesting because she came in and he's trying to sell this house, and it's just real interesting that she came in there versus Mary. Now I know Mary is his right hand woman, and of course, her history, it'll be real cool. But I just thought it was interesting that he really only brings either Chriselle or Mary to certain houses. I've never seen him bring um Ananza, is that how you say her name?
Amanza.
To anything, but her thing is to style the house. But she's selling stuff. But I'm like,
Yeah.
when are we gonna see that? I would love, for him to give her a chance. I don't understand why it's always Chriselle and Mary.
Because he slept with both of them.
Girl, let you tell it.
Allegedly.
Well, they have relationships, and we
I
can
know.
really
I
safe to
listen.
assume that there was penetration of some kind.
Allegedly. Those anyway, yeah, but if you think about it, those two managed to, I think, gain a certain level of trust, because I think he's let go of Mary. Mary's like his like sister wife now. You know what I mean? Because look at them with those dogs coming up. And I
Girl, I
think
think
that
one of them passed away, child.
Romaine is perfectly happy to be supported by Jason, as
Yeah.
long and doesn't mind loaning Mary out for the emotional support animal that he, whenever Jason wants her to be that. I think that he's not over Chriselle. I think that he secretly wishes that relationship had continued to work out. Um, but that ship has sailed long ago.
Big time.
She was like, I was willing to entertain you if you would give me a baby. Because all your real estate and all your, financial security, I can procreate with your little ass. But he was like, nope, I still want to play around. And she was like, nope, I'm not going to be the trophy. I have things I need to do. Eggs
And
to place.
I like that about her. She's very on her and I have a similar thought process, or at least she's not afraid, or they're not afraid to show it, how she addresses things, as they are, as what it is. I've noticed that with Chriselle over the last 4 or 5 seasons, especially when she went through her divorce. Um, it was, she's very in tuned in how to communicate what the situation is, and I
Yeah,
like that about her.
I like that about her. I also appreciate the fact she has an independent relationship. She, I think, enjoys being on the show. She's beautiful. She's very well preserved, out of all of them. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, like you catch some of these girls at the wrong angle, and it's like, ladies, just calm down, with what you're doing. Um, and I think that the way that she's maintained her independence as a cast member on this show, like
Yeah,
brand wise and with her like own identity, I really do respect that. So,
yeah,
and
and see,
I know she was an actress, but she just she manages to pull off some of the more genuine moments.
but I was just gonna say I like her because she seems genuine. She's not a fake or phony Hollywood type that like for instance, like Christine was, putting on the Ritz, even though you know she's producing, but having that malicious intent going on with her, just causing problems. I like that about her. I really
Yeah,
do.
I mean, we all know that this portion of LA culture is very backstabby, very fake, very image driven, very beauty and like image obsessed and access and elitism and all of that. I mean, we know the waters, they do exist. So this show is a fair representation of that. Now, do most of us believe that these ladies are genuinely selling these homes? No. But they do represent a certain level of like dog eat dog in that world, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
these ladies, listen, this is your opportunity to parlay this into something else. You know what I mean?
And speaking
Um,
of fake, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go right ahead.
And
Transition us
speaking of
out.
fake, I kind of got a little fakeness from Mary when they were at her tanning party situation.
Oh my God. Yes.
And okay, so pretty much it's Mary and Ananza, the girl that came from, remember her name, and Mary's
Amanza.
husband.
Like a man, Amanza.
Yeah. And also the dog. And so they're
Right.
talking about a text that Mary got from Chelsea where there was some adversarial conversation and Chelsea kind of cussed her out over text. And then her husband responded because he didn't like what he saw. And I'm like, okay, dude, first of all, you need to stay out of it. She wasn't talking to you, and your wife can handle herself. She's old enough to know what to say and how to say it. But the thing with me is like Mary waits to address things, even though she's very um uh uh she's putting her foot down about the text in this conversation, but she didn't put her foot down at the time with the person that offended her with the text.
She's
So
very passive aggressive.
very. And then she waits and waits and waits to address it. So, it's like in a way, especially if you're supposed to be managing this person in the office, there's there's an approach that you must take to immediately shut shit down. You have the authority to address things as you should address things at the time. That is what makes a great office manager or a person who oversees things in the office, whatever her title is, because you're supposed to not create or chaos or keep chaos going. You're supposed to nip that shit in the bud and manage and move on. But for some reason, it's like I don't know if it's a part of the storyline that they want to just prolong or whatever, but I would have immediately called Chelsea like, hey, I got this text. I don't like it. Don't ever talk to me like that again. I don't
Well,
give a
Mary,
doggone what's going on.
like I
Now,
said,
you can have a conversation, but you're not going to address me in that way, just like she did later on.
Mary acts like a little girl. She likes a man to protect her. If it's Jason, not Romaine, it's Jason, right? But she also
Mm-hmm.
likes to be able to pull the strings. And she also like is more annoyed or controlling about things, but she won't like initially come off that way, or she like, Hank tries to look innocent. I think that scene with the self tanning was super annoying because you could she sounded like drunk to me, like super.
Probably so.
Yeah, and so it was like, okay, now I'm gonna have this scene where I'm gonna be like, "Don't you talk to me like that? Let's draw the line." And I'm like, "This feels so forced. Like this feels so fake,
I
right?"
agree
And
with
then,
her.
oh, you both have to, and then jump to, oh, you both have to sell the listing. There's no problem, right? And we know there really is. So it's like, okay, you know how you were mentioning earlier, you don't know which storylines are like constructed beefs. This one kind of feels like one in a certain way, you
Mm-hmm.
know but I just think it's like Mary's very passive aggressive mo to be like not is just not confrontational in the moment, and then like has one when it's more strategic for her, and after she's boo-hooed to men to go like take care of her, she's very whiny to me in that way.
I agree. Now we got Alanna. She's the new one, like I mentioned before. Um, and they have a new office. I love that office look. Well, how do you like it?
It's a lot, but you know what, the other place was lame. This is much more like, yeah, I like it above the other one for sure.
But they're a lot.
Yeah, true, true, very true. Yeah, it suits the, yeah, there
I
we
think it
go.
has, of course, that manly, look to it, but it's kind of sexy, of course. And I I love how it's configured. and with all the decor, and I like it a lot versus the other place. This is very much upgraded, updated. I wonder what they're doing with the other space.
I don't know.
Did you mention?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, I like the new office. Now, the $30 million Manhattan Beach showed. So pretty much, this guy is trying to sell his, well, this couple, but the husband comes in, wants to sell their Manhattan Beach house, prime real estate, one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive properties. It's on 2 lots, so it has all the upgrades, all the shenanigans that people are trying to get in their homes. I think there was some Tesla configurations going on in the house. So pretty much it's the end all be all houses that, of course, has to be the the best of the best over there in Manhattan Beach. And of course, Chelsea is the Manhattan Beach guru, but some other folks want to crack at it. And of course, Mary, she said, "Well, that's where I started from. That what you talking about, Chelsea?" And they already had this little thing going on. And then Alanna said, "Well, I want to try a stab at it." So all three of them vie for a spot, and Jason sets up individual interviews, so to speak, with the owners, the married couple, and it was just weird for me for them to set up separate. Um, uh, it seems like a job interview, for these people to go in. To me, I thought it would be better if all three of them showed up and all three of them presented their, uh, objective, opinions about things. What do you think about them individually going to
Well,
sell themselves as the realtor for the property?
I think it is like a job interview. When you're interviewing realtors, it's almost like an audition. So I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
surprised if they all went in individually. I thought that Chelsea made a bold move that either they were going to love or they were going to hate, with saying, I actually have somebody right now to come look at the house right now. Let's do it. You know what I mean? And then, Mary walks in and she has a lot of higher end sales behind her because of her relationship with the twins. You know what I mean? I thought Alana seemed very, like, almost shaky in the beginning, like her voice, like you could tell she was nervous. You could tell that she was like kind of rehearsed. This is her first pitch on TV, doing all of that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
I respected that she still was like, I'm up for this. I'm going to try anyway. But I listen, I, I would not pay $30 million in Manhattan Beach. Nope. Did you see that house? It was like on the street and everything.
On the
My goodness.
corner lot.
Yes, I was like, "Are you kidding? This is what we're reduced to?" I mean, and I love Manhattan Beach, don't get me wrong, like, it's Manhattan, Redondo, like, I
All that.
love.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but 30 million? No, thank you. Yeah, no.
So then we find out that Alana didn't get it, but both Chelsea and Mary are going to work together on this. Both the couple wanted Chelsea for her longevity and living there and knowing it, but excuse me, with the longevity goes with Mary and her history. But because Chelsea's already there, they wanted both of
Mhm.
them to come together. That they really liked their presentation, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
And
they
next,
definitely. Go ahead. Nope, I'm good.
okay. And next we got Bree. Now, like you mentioned before, she came into that beautiful house that Jason wanted to talk to her about because, of course, last season she was sick and tired of being sick and tired and having to defend her personal relationships. And Chelsea really got on her nerves, and it was just always something. And she was ready to quit last season. But of course, I knew she was playing. It's just something for her to big up herself with. She needs that her head blown because of how she's been treated around town, and she's
Yep,
used to the privilege that she has of being a beautiful girl and being stalked and wanted by so many, and just all she's all that in a bag of chips. She feels deeply that she's all that in a bag of chips, right? And it's
right.
all good, no hate there. But I think she's playing hard to get because you're on the show, Heffa. So if you didn't want to come back, we will be filming you later, like some of the other shows we've seen on other networks where they come in at the tail end of the season.
Well, I guess somebody needs to act some kind of way, right? For there to be something. So, she, listen, I just appreciated that he took her to that house because that was my favorite one of the ones that we saw. So, you can talk about
For
whatever you
sure.
want, the two of you.
For sure. Okay. But that's pretty much it for episode 1. Any summations of any kind you like to give?
Nope, I'm just thank you for the beautiful homes this episode, and I'm here
Yeah.
to get acclimated into the mess, reacquainted with it.
Yes. 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 I concur. I love me a good house watch. I've been doing
Mm-hmm.
this, watching these types of shows for years. It's not these types of selling of, like reality shows, but just, literally selling homes and looking at different all over the
Absolutely.
country and the world. So yeah, I love it.
I guess I'll say real quick, that's the part I'm the most surprised with is that we can absolutely see home prices in Southern California rising, and especially in LA, crazy. Crazy what
Okay.
$30 million gets you now. It's yeah.
Like what, 9,000 square feet?
Not even acreage anymore, okay?
Girl, you can probably get a whole city out there in the south somewhere for that much. Oh my
I'm
god.
telling you.
But yeah, that's y'all. That's Selling Sunset, season 8, episode 1. We hope you guys come back. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this stuff with folks. We'll see you next time for episode 2. Adios.